Hello, sexy people. Welcome back to the show. I'm so excited because today I'm here with Hannah, and Hannah's just finished the 21-day primal body reset. And I loved what Hannah said. Her favorite thing about it was feeling that food freedom. And now
Yeah.
she doesn't feel like her appetite's out of control. And that is something that I can totally relate to. So we're going to dive into this today. Hannah, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm postmenopausal, and I think that was one of the reasons why my appetite was just literally out of control. As in, I would eat, and then 2 hours later, I'd be hungry, and then I'd have to eat again. And yeah, for me, it was all about appetite control and not being able to control it. And also, if I've eaten certain foods, I would go into almost like a food coma. And
Yeah.
now, I think, as I mentioned during the challenge, there was a day when I went to the gym and they were offering these protein bars or something or other. And I thought, oh, they're only literally, they were only tiny. And I thought, oh, protein bars, protein, right? And it said 24% on the bar. And I'm like, yeah. And I must admit, I didn't look at the other ingredients. I was looking at the protein. And within about 5 minutes of eating that, it was literally, couldn't actually function. And so to realize that even small amounts of things with sugar and all kinds of stuff in them has an impact on me is for me has just been so transformational. When I eat foods that my body doesn't like, it literally takes 5-10 minutes for my body to respond. And so the fact that it responded within 5 minutes was like, okay, not going to eat one of those again in a hurry or ever. And so,
Yeah.
yeah, I was really in that place of just so many different foods impacting me in so many different ways. And now I feel so much better. So much better. It's just incredible, honestly.
I know that many menopausal women will be able to relate. I feel like I've been over enthusiastic about food, the wrong ones, but all of my life. But yeah, in the menopause, it can really come in. What made you, Hannah, decide to give this a go? Because you were already eating what you thought was quite healthy, and you decided to start with this crazy primal eating and try the 21-day reset. So what was it that made you decide to dive in?
The interesting thing was that, and I think I mentioned this to either yourself or to Nikki or to both of you, is that I had actually tried the carnivore diet previously. And well, what I thought was the carnivore diet. And I was not feeling quite myself. And so when you mentioned that this was about eating meat and red meat, my brain just went, oh, yeah, and that's what I love anyway. And I could eat fish and butter and all these kinds of things. I'm like, okay, hmm, let me do this because I had watched the YouTube videos with some of the people who were carnivores and the transformation in their health and weight loss and everything. And I'm like, okay, these people clearly found something. So when you mentioned it was part of what you guys do, I was like, you know what? 21 days? Yeah, 21 days is easy. It's just 3 weeks. And 3 weeks goes by really quickly. And so it was just a case of having that realization that, okay, do you know what? I've actually tried lots of different things to stabilize my appetite. And I think one of the other key things that I is probably worth mentioning is that in the past when I've lost weight, it has been through trial and error. And because I've tried lots of different things, it's worked. But then when I've come down to sit down and reflect on, okay, what was it that I actually did? Couldn't remember because I had done lots of things. And with this program, what I found is that it's actually really easy. It's easy in terms of shopping. It's easy in terms of what's in the fridge or what's not in the fridge or what's in the basket and things like that. This is actually for me really simple. If it's a packet and it's got more than three ingredients on it, I'm like, "Oh, I have to stop reading if it's got more than three ingredients." And for example, previously I used to have almond milk as opposed to cow's milk because I believed the propaganda about dairy and it has no adverse impact for me. One thing I did notice, but not this time because I don't eat it anyway, and that's yogurt. If I eat yogurt, I get these tiny spots on my face. I just don't eat it. But other than that, I've found that eating this way has just, like I said, it's just really helped my appetite and coming to that realization that I can do something about it. And I think the other thing that's actually quite important is knowing that the people who've done it, so for example, like you and Nikki, you're in that similar phase of life,
Yeah.
which is again the postmenopausal phase. Whereas lots of other people, they're like in their 20s and 30s and even early 40s and stuff. And I'm not sure that you really can really vibe with what I'm experiencing here. And some of them might, but I don't know. I felt that, and also knowing you guys for quite a few years, it's helped me to just think, you know what, if it's worked for these guys, it could work for me. It might not, but it could. And because, like I said, I tried the carnivore thing and I'm like, okay, I hopefully this sort of like adaptation of it or revision of it could do something for me. Let me give it a go. For 21 days, hey, absolutely. Let's just do it and see. And literally the transformations even occurred within the first 7 days or so, I think, actually, where I really started to feel the difference. It's not so much about the weight for me at that point. It was more about how I was feeling, because I think that how I'm feeling determines what I eat. And if I'm eating the wrong foods all of the time, then it's because of the way that I'm feeling. Whereas now, even if I haven't eaten at the right time, I'm not eating the wrong things, so to speak. And I use wrong in quotations because wrong for me might not be wrong for other people. And so it's ultimately just really gaining control of my appetite. And this was an opportunity to do that. And that's why I jumped in.
Hannah, some people might be saying, oh my gosh, but it sounds so crazy. Do you just eat meat? What do you actually eat? What is this primal eating? So I would love to know, what were those first few days like for you?
Well, knowing that actually fat was good for you, it turned my brain upside down a little bit. Because with that said, I think one or perhaps both of my sons had previously mentioned to me, Mum, you've got to eat more fat. And I'm like, what? That doesn't make any sense. And I couldn't reconcile losing fat with eating fat.
Mm.
And so for me, it was, and when I tried the carnivore diet previously, I wasn't eating fat. It's like for me, when I buy chicken, I cut all the fat off the chicken, I cut all the fat off the meat. Whereas actually, now that I'm eating it, I feel fuller and it's tasty because I just throw it in the air fryer. So the kinds of things I eat are for breakfast, I will have eggs, which is what I used to have before. But the other thing I used to have with my eggs was I would have spinach with it and tomatoes and onions. And I used to love all of those things. But then when I realized that those things were not really serving me, I don't go for halfway. I was just like, no, just drop it straight away. And everything that was in my fridge, I just literally just threw it all in a bag and threw it away. It was just easier rather than trying to be gradual. That's what works for me. I don't like this do half of it and not do the other half. It's just do it the way and see how it works. And for me, I tried it on and it fits. So I like it.
Lovely. And you mentioned you have eggs. Do you have anything with your eggs?
Oh, yeah. So now I've discovered, and I can't remember whether it was you or Nikki that mentioned that you use so for example, I make a lot of my meats in the air fryer and there's always juices in the bottom. And I think it was Nikki who mentioned just use that for your eggs. And I was like, use that for my eggs. And again, it's just something I'd never thought about. And honestly, it is one of the tastiest things you can eat, especially if you know how to season your meat anyway. The meat juices from your meat, just use that for frying your eggs or use butter. And I was just,
Yeah.
yeah, just tasty. So that's what I
Eggs
would
and
definitely have
butter.
for breakfast.
Eggs and butter, or eggs and the meat fat.
Yeah.
And Hannah, we used to see loads of your amazing pictures of what you're eating within the WhatsApp group. So I know that people sort of listen and say, but what do you actually eat? What do you have for your other meals in the day? So give us examples of, you might have eggs and butter for breakfast.
Yeah.
No other meats at breakfast?
Sometimes I might have a steak. Listen, I love my red meat. I will not deny it. I will put my hand up. Red meat is my friend. It's always been my friend, to be honest, but I've been gradually trying to reduce it because in my mind, the propaganda is incredible. And now sometimes I'll have a lamb steak with my eggs. Sometimes I'll have salmon. Sometimes I'll have prawns. Like this morning, actually, I had prawns with my eggs. And again, I'll fry the prawns in the butter or I will use the same meat juices to
Mhm.
cook my prawns. And it's just
Yeah.
tasty. So that's the sort of thing I'll have for breakfast. For lunch, I will probably have lamb chops, and I like the lamb chops that I get because they're nice and thin. And again, I'll just throw them in the air fryer, season them up, and just sit down and enjoy them. And similar thing for dinner if I'm eating later. Something else I did today, actually, this morning, because I knew I was going to be out on the road for quite a bit, was halloumi.
Oh,
So with halloumi, for me, the key thing is when you buy it, because it comes in a packet which appears to be in some water, you got to wash that water away and then put fresh water in a bowl, cover the halloumi for at least, excuse me, I think for at least 20 minutes or whatever. But I generally leave it in there overnight and then wash the water away in the morning and then put it in the air fryer. But they're just tasty. 10 minutes in the air fryer, either side, and they come out like, how can I even describe how they come out? I'm not sure, but they're just a really tasty snack and they're very filling as well. So that's the sort of thing I will eat. My favorite is lamb chops or lamb steaks. Or for example, right now I've actually got duck in the air fryer. So I think that's what I'm having later. But again, I might not even eat it, even though I'm cooking it, because I don't feel hungry because of what I've eaten. So I had those halloumi snacks while I was traveling earlier. But that's the sort of thing that I eat. And literally, I will just rotate through the meats. So if I'm not eating lamb, or I'm not eating duck, or I'm not eating turkey, or I'm not eating salmon, or I'm not eating beef steak, or beef ribs, or lamb ribs, oxtail, and those are the sorts of things that I will eat. And I'll generally cycle through them. And at the beginning of the week, I'll just buy all my meat, or once a week, I'll buy all my meat and throw most of it in the freezer. So that it's like literally my freezer is jam packed full of meat. And then just take it out the night before, cook it. And it takes, I like easy. So if it's frozen, I will just throw it straight in the pressure cooker and it will cook it. And then I'll season it and then I'll put it back in the same thing and then just grill it with seasoning and sit down and enjoy my dinner. So that's what I am. So I think pretty simple in my mind and tasty.
I love the simplicity of it, and I love the tastiness of it. And Hannah, because you've been through all the different things you've tried over the many years, a lot of them you feel hungry, you feel starving, you feel like you're not nourished.
I
And
don't
then
feel
it's,
any of that.
yeah, exactly.
Don't feel any of that.
And that's the magic of fat. And what we're talking about, just for people watching, is the fat that comes with the meat, the fat that comes
Yeah.
with the eggs. It's the natural fat that is designed for you to eat it. It literally comes together. Protein in nature always comes with fat. And these are the foods that our ancestors have eaten for millions of years that in the last 100 years, the government's told us are suddenly bad for us,
Yeah.
which is the
Yeah.
opposite. Anyway,
Yes, the opposite. Because for me, the biggest thing is really appetite control. And I know that even when I'm out and about, for example, I might just, if I need to pop into the supermarket, I'll get some boiled eggs or something like that, which is what I got. And they come with this little pot of salad cream, which I just throw away, but I'll just eat the eggs. So
mm.
again, if I'm traveling, it's really simple.
And I think one of the things that you said, and that so many of us have experienced, is this crazy out of control appetite. And that when we eat the food that we're actually designed to eat, the meat with the fat, we feel satiated. We feel like a normal person. We do not feel like a crazy person anymore. And when we're eating even the so-called health foods, because look at your protein bar, even
Yeah.
the so-called health foods that are basically a mixture of chemicals. They're a mixture of chemicals, carbohydrates, vegetables, oils, and stuff. It's none of it is good for us. We eat that stuff that's designed in factories to make us addicted, and we're addicted. It's such a freedom. Let
Yeah.
me ask you about that, Hannah. How does it feel to be eating such a small number of foods?
I'm okay with it. I used to supplement what I eat now with vegetables and salads. And I wasn't really a big fan on carbs anyway, because I used to find that when I ate carbs, it would cause me to want to sleep literally within about 5 minutes. So I tried to avoid them. But I used to eat cauliflower rice. And because I'm like, okay, well, that's low carb. And it is
Mm,
low carb.
mm,
However, it's vegetables. Like I said, for me, it's either all or nothing. I don't do this halfway thing. So I've literally just stopped eating everything that is not meat or dairy or fish. So I'll eat
Yeah.
salmon or I'll eat halibut or prawns or scallops, or I'll eat meat or fish or chicken or duck or whatever. But anything aside from that, for me, that's just easy. It's like I'll walk into the shop and go straight to the meat aisle and I'm sorted. And then I'll just pop round the fridge aisle where the cheese and the butter is. And I get this butter from, I think it's usually from Tesco, where it's organic, unsalted organic butter, which I use for my butter coffee in the morning, which is, again, it's really tasty. And if I'm out and about and I want to have a coffee, I'll just order coffee with full cream milk. Something
Mm,
that usually would be like, can I have a skinny latte, please?
yes. And now we can eat the real food, feel good. And just for people watching or listening, you may find that for you, dairy is not a goer.
Yeah.
Or Hannah, for example, you don't eat pork. So
Mm.
each person will have their own way of doing it. Some
Yes.
people like to add a few low oxalate vegetables, and other people like yourself, and for the most part, me, feel okay and better in a way, the simplicity of it without.
Yeah.
Hannah, let's talk about the results. What changed for you?
So I think one of the things that I did notice actually maybe within a week or so, or maybe just after a week, or maybe the week two, was like, so I think it was Stephanie that said, see how your clothes fit. And literally I walk around in my gym trousers, which are elasticated, and they're falling off. And the reason why I know this is because I'm fairly tall. And when I'm bigger, the length of my trousers don't touch the ground.
Mm.
Whereas now I've got like this much crawling on the ground. So I'm having to fold them up. And I'm like, I'm not ready to buy new gym trousers yet. I'm not ready. I might have to, because if you see the bottom of my trousers, you feel like sweeping the floor all over town, which I don't really like that look. I know it's quite trendy for some people, but it's not really my style. But that's one of the biggest things that I noticed. As well as, and I think I mentioned my watch, I used to wear it on the third thing. And then one day I woke up and I was like, oh, that's weird. And then I put it on the second and I'm like, oh, wow, it's actually on the second button and it's loose on the second. And that was just really surprising, because you wouldn't really think, this is my wrist, right? And you wouldn't really think that your wrist would be a place where you're measuring your progress. But actually, that in and of itself, to me, is progress. And that's what, maybe half an inch or something on my wrist. So, and again, what I'm going to start doing is measuring my ankles as well, because I know that will make a difference. And
Yeah.
yeah, we've lost 2 kilos that I measured. I haven't actually weighed myself for a little while, but at the time when I did, I'd lost 2 kilos. And I was like, okay, this is good. This is good, because this is a gradual thing and it's going to take a little bit of time. And I think for me, the biggest thing, and I think I mentioned this to Nikki the other day, is it's actually having complete control of my appetite. So even if I'm hungry, I'm not like just reaching for anything. I will really think about what I want and what will be good for my body and won't cause it to crash. And it won't cause me to start having a desire to want to eat all that other stuff. It's a bit like I popped into Marks and Spencer's the other day. I think it was yesterday. And I saw things that ordinarily I would have just, oh no, I'll just have one of those and I'll have, and I looked at them and I was like, no, like even things like sometimes they have cooked chicken or cooked prawns or whatever. So nowadays, previously, I would have just like, yeah, I'll have that and I'll have that or whatever. But now what I do is I pick up the packet, turn it over and read. And like I said, if it's got more than 3 ingredients, I stop reading, because that means it's got stuff in it that's not going to be good for me. So I don't even bother. So in that kind of situation, I'll either go for cooked prawns or I'll go for eggs, or just drink some more water until I get to somewhere where I can get something, because it's not every time that you want to go necessarily to a restaurant. So you have to go and order whatever you want. But
Yeah.
even if you go to a restaurant, you've still got to be careful. And then, how did you cook this thing that you're serving me?
Yeah.
So,
You've lost weight, which especially 50 is not always straightforward, even when you're eating fresh air and toast. Well, especially when you're eating fresh air and toast. back in the days, most of these diets were made up of healthy carbs, fruit and veg.
Yeah.
So much sugar. No wonder we couldn't lose weight. But you've
Yeah.
lost weight, you've lost inches. But I think the main thing is that you're talking about is you feel really good.
Yeah. That to me is the game changer. I feel good. And even something actually that used to happen was that when I used to wake up in the morning, if I didn't eat, so if I wake up and I stay in bed, I'm fine because I'm laying down, I'm not active. But if I wake up in the morning and I get up and I do something, if I do not eat, once I'm up and about, literally, I would feel like really weak, almost to the point of feeling dizzy. Whereas now, if I get up in the morning and I don't eat straight away, I'm actually fine. And I'm like, wow, that is something else. So yeah, it's
And
like
it's
I even went to play. I even went to the gym for a couple of hours on an empty stomach. I think I might have had a coffee, but I was fine. Whereas if I had tried to do that before doing this, oh no, in fact, I wouldn't have been able to do it because my body would have just been like, I would have had no, I would have had no energy to do it. Because then that's just something I discovered since I've been postmenopausal. There were days in the past and way before I was menopausal where sometimes I wouldn't eat till 3 o'clock in the afternoon and I'd be fine. And eat, I'd still go to the gym and do whatever or go for a long walk and I'd be fine. But since being menopausal, I've discovered that because of the way my body's changed, I'm just more susceptible, I guess you could say, to things that don't work. And now that I've got this awareness of things that do work, listen, if it works, why mess about with it? That's how I look at it.
no, absolutely. And it's because your body's now moved from a sugar burner where you've got to constantly eat to a fat
Yeah.
burner where you've always got fat on your body. Even lean people have enough fat to keep them going, as I say, for a day. So
Oh,
brilliant. I
actually,
know that we've got your lovely granddaughter coming over to see you very soon. Let me ask you,
mm,
if somebody were like you, maybe menopausal, wants to get control over their appetites,
do it,
feels that little
do it,
bit.
do it.
Yeah.
Because once you get control of your appetite, you will have clarity of mind because you won't be focusing on food. In the evening, where I'd spend hours chopping up my vegetables and doing all this kind of stuff, it's like, no, I don't do any of that. So it actually has freed up my time because I'm not spending hours because I like cooking. I used to cook every day and I still cook every day, but I don't have to chop up all the vegetables or buy prepackaged vegetables to cook. It's like I don't even have to think about all of that. It's okay, hang on. What do I need? I need some beef or I need some lamb and I just need to cook it. And then I sit down and eat it. Job done.
Yeah. And with the air fryer, and I like to use the slow cooker as well sometimes. It's so easy because after you put it in there, that's basically it.
Yeah. Yeah. And then you've seasoned it and it's literally, it is as tasty comes once it comes out. And yeah, for me, it's like I have got a combined air fryer with a pressure cooker, slow cooker thing. So it's like literally it's one pan. It's a one pan meal
Yeah.
and literally maximum 10 minutes if I'm defrosting it and then 10 minutes to cook it. I'm good. So if I
So
have
how
guests,
oh, sorry, go
it's
on.
easy. I was going to say, if I have guests, it's easy. It's like we're eating meat. And if they want cauliflower rice, I've kept some in the freezer for them. But if they want proper rice, they got to give me notice.
Yes.
Because I'd have to go
Yeah.
and get from.
Yeah. Yes, I love it. I love it, Hannah. I love your energy. I love how good you feel. And I feel excited for you because I remember going into this at first and realizing, oh my goodness, this is not what I expected to be the
Yeah.
answer. My roundup question is, what has surprised you about this? Because you thought, I'll try this, don't know if it'll work. It's only 3 weeks. What surprised you with the results that you've gotten?
I think the fact that I can eat butter. And I had stopped eating margarine a long, long time ago because I realized that was not good for me anyway. But the fact that I can actually eat it freely and vegetables are not good for me personally. I used to love spinach with tomatoes and add all kinds of things to it and fruit. So, for example, in the summer, especially, I would buy watermelon and even my granddaughter and I would sit and chop it up together and then we'd eat it together. not realizing that these were some of the things that were causing me to not be able to lose weight. And so there's been lots of little things actually that have, I guess you could say, have made me realize that I'm just going to continue doing what I'm doing and loving it because it's easy. It's not complicated. Seriously. If you listen, I met someone at the gym the other day and she was telling me how, oh, she's got to lose weight. And I said, oh, okay. And I said, do you eat meat? And she said, no. I said, oh, I'm sorry, I can't help you. It was that simple. Because I'm not in the business of trying to convert people from being vegan and vegetarian to becoming meat eaters. That's okay. That's what you believe and that's what you want. But if that's what your stance is, then I don't know how to offer any help to you. Whereas if you're a meat eater, I'll be like, you need to speak to Stephanie and Nikki.
Yeah, yeah. I think what people don't realize, Hannah, and I've been there myself because I've had a period with vegan or where I was cutting back drastically on meat or a vegetarian time, is that humans are animals
Yeah.
and there's a certain biology to it. They think we can just eat whatever we want. That is not the case. To get all of the vitamins, minerals, and nutrients we need, we must eat meat and fat. We cannot get them from plants alone, and even the Vegan Society will tell you that. But before I get off my soapbox, I get on my soapbox, Hannah, and say we're so excited that you've decided, first of all, to come on the 21-day reset with us and had such incredible results. And now you're going with us onto the 90-day reset, and we can't wait to see what you do there.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited. And I think one of the reasons why I decided to do that was because I felt that the 21 days was actually pretty easy. And because I had actually also decided that this year I'm going to get fit, I'm going to get stronger, and I'm just going to get my body to a place where it's going to be better for me in the long run. And I'm truly grateful of the fact that I've never had health issues. So it's not about health apart from obviously being overweight, but health issues like a lot of people have diabetes and heart failure and all these kinds of things. I don't have any of that. For me, those things are allergic to me. So I don't have any of that. So that's not been my thing. It's really about maintaining a healthy body so that I can be stronger and fitter as I get older and be able to play
Yeah.
with my grandchildren. I used to race my boys. We used to race together on the bike when they were younger. I want to be able to do that with my grandchildren, right? Why not?
Yes. Yes, absolutely. You want to do your singles tennis?
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Yeah, not there yet. Because the other day, honestly, I was like, oh my God, I've got a way to go. But listen, so I'm on the way. So I'm happy with that.
It it's on the way, and are you open to sharing your age, Hannah?
Yeah, I'm going to be 58 this year.
Wow, so you're knocking on the door of 60,
Yeah.
and
Right.
you're okay, maybe I'm fast forwarding you too much, but you're getting
I'm fixing
older,
up the next 20 years.
but you're getting fitter,
Yeah.
stronger, lighter,
Yeah.
and all of these ways of eatings are what is known to reduce all of those metabolic diseases.
Yeah.
Be it diabetes, be it the high blood pressure, whatever. These are all symptoms of metabolic illness, and this way of eating will protect you from
Yeah.
them.
Yes, I'm pleased. I'm pleased. And I'm delighted that appetite control, seriously. If you were to ask me what's my one word or two words, appetite control, because
Yeah.
that makes a big difference in terms of how I function. Because if I'm feeling hungry, I can't think. Or if I've eaten something that upsets my metabolism, I can't think. I get brain fog and I don't have any of that. So I'm really pleased. And I drink lots of water anyway. So that's the other thing that's important to do. And I love drinking lots of water anyway. So again, it's easy. It's not, listen, I've done Slimming World and I've done juice diets. I've done low carb and stuff. I've tried lots of different things and lots of things have worked in the past. I'm not saying they haven't, but all of those that I've just mentioned, they require a lot of thinking, particularly Slimming World. Lord have mercy. Even go there. Let me not go there because it works for some people. It just wasn't my best friend.
it's a lot of work and this is easy. And that's come up so many times. It's simple. It frees you up. And we have mentioned the brain fog.
Yeah.
Another thing that hits people as they age, and that goes away. But listen, Hannah, I want to say thank you so much for being in the group with us, for being such an inspiration, for your incredible contributions in the WhatsApp group and so on. It's just been our honor and pleasure to be working with you in the 21-day reset.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure. I've enjoyed it and I'm looking forward to really regaining my health and fitness. So yeah, excited.
Yeah. And thank you, sexy people, for watching and for listening and for being here. If this is something you want to do, of course, this is something you can do on your own as well. But if you do want the support of being in an amazing community of people all looking towards the same goals, then just DM us with the word 21 or 90, whether you're interested in the 21-day reset or the 90-day reset, and we will send you information. For now, be happy, be healthy, be sexy, and we'll see you next week. Bye for now.
Bye.